All right, try this again. I think I figured it out. The streaming software I use, StreamYard, they launched a new stream simultaneously feature, vertical and horizontal. They launched it yesterday. And so if you saw that first 15 minutes and it was confusing, I apologize. It was confusing for me too. This is I think I figured out it's just a button. What they do is when you're setting your live streams, they prompt you to do both. So I had to just click a box to say, "Nah, I'm good." I just wanted to do horizontal, and that's that. We'll see if the boys get the messages. But I was 15 minutes in. I was talking about Connor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. too, and we're just going to continue that conversation. I'm going to pull up the odds again. Look, it's not a popular pick, but I in my breakdown and analysis of this fight, you know what? Let me see if I can just pull that up. I don't like I don't like how close together the fight is for Chris Eubank Jr. Something doesn't something doesn't sit right for me. Why like it feels rushed. I talked about this before. It feels like they were on a it feels like they were on like an expiry date for that to even go down. Like why rush it? Why not wait a couple months? So I'm gonna pull up just so I don't have to repeat myself in this modality. I'm gonna pull up my breakdown and I'll just play it for you. All right, give me a second. Share this tab instead. All right, guys. This is if you haven't watched, this is my breakdown. This I'm just gonna play you the bit my reasoning. This is a 15-minute video. I'm only gonna play you 1 minute. All right, just to save you guys if you guys haven't seen it. 7 months ago, the draw 14-1. I know there's gonna be some boys in the Discord playing that draw. I feel this time around something that isn't sitting with me properly is that time in rest, the recovery. I don't like that fight was 7 months ago. I don't like that it went 12 rounds in terms of Chris Eubank Jr.'s hopes of this fight. Chris is going to be 37 soon. He's the older guy. He's the favorite here. He got hit a lot. He took a lot of damage. 7 months in the grand scheme of things at 36, 37 years old is not a lot of time to recover. We saw the footage of him in the hospital after the first fight. We know what's at stake. Legacy's at stake. You're giving me Connor Benn at plus money. I'm leaning into the dog. I'm hoping that Connor makes the adjustments I talked about. I'm hoping that he invests in the body. I'm hoping that he's able to control his emotions. And I'm hoping that he's able to break Chris Eubank down throughout the fight and manages his gas tank properly this time around. That is my pick. Upset of the week, dog of the week. You're giving me Connor Benn, the younger guy. Even though he's a smaller guy at plus money, I'm taking him. Guys, I know I picked Chris in the first fight. So yeah, there it is. That's how I see it going. That's what I'm leaning on. It's plus money. I like the plus money. I don't think either bet is a safe bet. I think that's what makes this fight even more intriguing. I don't let you know what I'm saying. Even if I were to go heavy on Chris, I wouldn't be that comfortable. So it's like for a value pick, I feel taking Connor is the value pick. 100 gets me my money back plus 160. The draw's 14-1. So like I said in my breakdown, I know there'll be boys playing that draw. 14-1 is not bad. And here's something that you didn't hear me say, but I said this in my video. A trilogy? You know what I mean? What if Connor Benn for Connor Benn even to take this fight again, all the stuff he's been talking over the years that he wants to become a world champion. Connor Benn's never become a world champion. If he were serious about that, he would be taking fights at either 47 or 54. This is obviously, the legacy matters. I understand that with what the fathers did, but money matters over everything. I also understand that. So let's just play that theory, the money theory. It's why this one's going down. Why not do a trilogy? Unless Connor Benn goes out and gets knocked out, I think the trilogy is in play. And money, boxing loves a trilogy. So that's in play as well. I wish that they could let us bet on that if there was a future bet. Will there be a trilogy between Connor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr.? I would sprinkle something on that. It almost seems like that's what they're playing for. Connor doesn't to me seems like he wants to be a world champion. He left a lot of himself in that first fight. He's going to leave a lot of himself in the second fight. I don't think he's that good to become a world champion. Maybe in 2021, if you would have asked me the way he handled Chris Algieri, I would have I would have said, I think maybe he can do it, but having watched with the suspension, having watched how he's been operating, I don't see him becoming a world champion, so why not just get paid more? So that's how I see it. And I tell you guys in my breakdown, this rematch doesn't excite me. By the way, I'm not. I did my film study. I broke it down. I uploaded it. It was kind of it. I'm not too excited about it. They're burning the wick on both ends. Chris is getting too old. Connor needs to be able to cut back down to welterweight. And V, I like Ben to win. Also, I want to. There you go. I was watching the first one last night. Hell of a fight. Ben hurt him early in the second round. That's what I remember. And if you take the moments in the fight where which fighter was hurt more, there were multiple times where Chris looked hurt, and he was able to recover. Will he be able to recover this time? Will he allow Connor to jump on him this time? That first fight almost seemed like maybe Chris was not disrespecting Connor or not sort of underrating him, but maybe he was surprised at the veracity of Connor Ben. I don't know. Fight of the year. Love your channel. Appreciate the support, big fella. Appreciate the support. I do want to make a little bit of an announcement, guys. Any Australians in here? I got an offer, an Australian betting app. An Australian betting app made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Okay. It's not Sportsbet. I'm going to start using them tomorrow. And they want me to. I'm going to start doing all my picks through their platform, just like this. But there'll be some incentives for the Australian subscribers here. So I'm doing one more. I've been talking to them behind the scenes for like a month. I've been asking some people, should I, some my sort of circle, is this a good idea to partner with these guys? So it's an Australian betting app. I have one more meeting with them in about 2 hours on a live stream. They do a bunch of live events. They don't have a boxing guy in their app. It's an app that they've sort of. It's a startup through a bigger, very well-known Australian app, and it's their startup. So I'll be making another official announcement after I have that last meeting. Are you paying for it? I really don't want. I don't know, man. If I watch it, I'm going to pay for it. I'm not going to legally stream it. I don't know. It doesn't make me too excited, but we'll see what happens. Are you paying for it? Adu, you're Australian, aren't you? What's the app you use? For any Aussies here, Aussie, I want to know what betting apps you guys use. So for the Australians, what betting apps do you use? Just because I know Sportsbet has screwed us historically through the draws, and then Bet365 sometimes. I've never been screwed on them, but there's stories of Bet365 not paying out or voiding some wins. So it's not like I'm loyal to one specific betting app. I'm just interested if you Aussies, which ones the Aussies use, because about 35% of my subs are from Australia. You would think it would be more because I live here, but probably because I'm American. 65%, maybe 60% are American. The draw is interesting. Guys, this is even more interesting to me. Will the fight go the distance? It's almost 50-50. People were thinking that this time around, this fight might end in bloodshed. So that's interesting. Shit. So Johnny, you gonna take the? Oh, it's already in. That's my that. This is my that's my lock of the week, man. I gave it to you 2 days ago. The minute I saw that, I was like, that is. I'm just gonna share the link in the Discord real quick. Yeah, that's my steal of the week. I'll pull it up. Gelato, I mean, I can't believe he got this fight. I can't believe the odds haven't crashed. I can't believe these odds haven't crashed. This is insane. Landolfo Delgado is a really world class. People feel he could be a world champion. Galaz is he's fried, man. Watch Galaz versus Medina. I can't believe these odds haven't crashed. Thank God they haven't crashed. I mean, if I had $10,000 to bet on Delgado to get me 2,800, I would do that. There's no way I'm going to bet 10 grand on it. But if I had it as throwaway money, 100%. A 28% return of investment. That's how I would look at it. Lindolfo Delgado, I never say locks. I never say there's short things in boxing. I never do that. This fight, though, watch Gabriel Valenzuela Galaz against Medina in May. It was a fight in Mexico. He had just fought against Subriel Matias in March. He got the dog shit beat out of him against Matias. The type of beating that kind of you don't come back from. And his handlers turned him around 8 weeks later to fight in Mexico against a clubber, against a guy that he was a 10-1 favorite, Medina, against a guy that shouldn't even have been in the ring with him. If Galaz was, even a fraction of himself, Galaz would have finished this guy. But we watched the fight. We streamed the fight. I had Medina beating Galaz. I had Medina winning. Galaz had no motor neuron skills. And I talked about this yesterday on my live stream. Whenever you have brain trauma from, you know, head trauma, an accident, boxing, what happens is your central nervous system gets fried, and your central nervous system, it's responsible for energy output, your movement patterns. You could see Galaz, man. He was slow. His feet wouldn't work. His decision making was gone. He couldn't pull the trigger. Everything was like, he was stuck in the mud. I cannot believe he got this fight. Landolfo Delgado's in his prime. If they had an option for this fight to get stopped, I would. But I gave you guys this as soon as I saw it 2 days ago. I put it on my Instagram. I shared it in the Discord. I put it on the YouTube. This is the steal of the week. I can't believe it hasn't crashed. You guys take this right now, build a parlay around it, go heavy on Delgado on the money line. This is crazy. Somebody should go to prison. Somebody should go to prison for turning Galaz around that quick against Medina, by the way. And it kind of highlights the corruption in boxing because they felt that they could just get another paycheck. His handlers, they felt they could get another paycheck. There'll be butts in the seats in Mexico. I think it might have been in Tijuana, might have been I think it was in TJ. And both guys were Mexican. Galaz is the guy, the world level guy at his best. At his best, Gabriel Galaz, world level guy. But for him to take an ass beating like that against Matias and his handlers to turn him around that quick, and then the audacity on them into thinking that Medina was gonna just have be a pushover, they didn't tell Medina that. So people are like, boxing's corrupt. They didn't tell Medina that. Medina won every round, and he lost the decision. It was insane. Jay Wells. Yeah. So he's talking about Eubank. Let's flip flop back to that, and I apologize for flip flopping, but this is gonna be my prop of the week. What Jay Wells is talking about. I mean, we already saw this once. Look at the odds on this. Eubank, Connor, Benn. This is my prop of the week. Fight to go the distance. I cannot believe this is at 50-50. I mean, it's 50-50 right now. This is we just saw this happen. We saw them go 12 rounds. It's another 12 rounder. This is a blood and guts affair. This is a legacy fight. The fathers, the family, the history. Unless we get one of these classic UK ref stoppages, I don't see this getting stopped. And maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe the handlers and the odds makers know that maybe Senior told the commission, hey, if one of these boys are hurt, I want you stopping. I don't know. If this plays out how the first one played out, $1.82 for the fight to go the distance is the move. I really like that bet. For me, though, because I'm taking Benn on the money line, I'm just taking the 260. This is my bet for this fight. So I'm taking Connor to win the rematch and possibly setting up a trilogy. Possibly. We'll see. I just think Connor has the more areas to improve here. I thought Connor had Chris in more deeper waters in the first one. I picked Chris in the first one. I won money on the first one, so it's not like I'm a Connor diehard. I picked Chris. I won money on Chris, but I thought it was close. Manny, 2K for 400. Yeah. Look, if you don't have it, don't do it. I'm not. I said the Landolfo Delgado fight. I said if I had the 10K, I would do it, and I'd be still good. Bro, I had fucking 4 to 5 in Glass in that fight, man. Yes. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. You know your boxing, Manny. We watched it. And, if you boys are new to my channel, we don't just cover mainstream fights. Manny's comment here, me and him were watching the same exact fight. It was fucking Galazzo versus Medina. Let me pull this shit up for you real quick. You know your boxing heads when you're watching Galazzo versus Medina. You know what I'm saying? I was interested because I've seen Galazzo look good before. And I was like, what kind of I couldn't believe, Manny, in that fight that they turned him around so quick. He looked man, it was hard to watch because if you know about neurology, if you know about brain damage, if you know about CTE, and you know the boxing and you saw what happened to Galazzo against Matias and you're watching the Medina fight 8 weeks later, it was hard to watch because essentially as boxing fans, what we're watching is a young man who has evidence signs of damage. I'll pull it up again. Give me 1 second. He's only 31 too. That's the crazy thing. So like I don't know if the people I don't know with these odds if people just forgot about the Matias fight or if they didn't watch the Medina fight. But I gotta tell you guys, if you're betting on this fight, you are a brave, brave soul if you're taking Gabriel Galaz Valenzuela in this fight. This is who he went. He went life and death. I'm talking life and death with Medina. Doesn't even have a photo. Medina won this fight. 100. It's not even controversial for me to say this. Medina beat Galaz. It was the biggest robbery of the year. 100%. You guys could say bigger fights were bigger robberies. This right here was absolutely insane. Look who Medina fought before Galaz. Look who Medina fought. Look what Medina's resume looks like before Galaz. So yeah, craziest robbery I've seen all year. What's up, Dwayne? Hit the like, guys, wherever you're tuning in. We're slowly, you know, 20 minutes in. I did a 15-minute live stream earlier, but the software was acting up. Hit the live. Appreciate you, Dwayne. Subscribe if you haven't. Guys, get to the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, it's popping. NBA, NFL, NHL, obviously boxing, MMA is our bread and butter. But the Discord, we're about 270 now. This is week 14. I want to get to 300 VIPs in there. So let's get up to 300. We started not too long ago, and it's growing. So it's growing because of you guys. Tenny Olaji by knockout or decision. I'm not getting props on it. Right now, the money line is going to be what we're doing. Islam Makhachev, money line, bank, Eubank 10 over. This ain't bad. It's just hard for me to bet against. It's hard for me to bet against Jack Della Maddalena. I've seen Makhachev get knocked out before. I've never seen Jack lose. So I wouldn't put MMA and boxing on the same ticket because you'd be salty if that Benn Eubank hits. You know, I've seen Makhachev knocked out before. I like Jack. I gotta be honest with you. I like Jack in that fight. Jack's a dog. Is Glass trying to cash out maybe 1 or 2 more losses? I don't know, Manny, what they're trying to do. I think it comes down to his handlers. I mean, who's handling his career? Who's his manager? Shady Godoy. Huh. Huh. This is Glass's manager. That's the big fella. That's his manager. Is he trying to cash him out? It looks that way. I think he should have went to prison for taking that Medina fight. MMA better. I think Connor decision this time. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Me too, man. That's what I'm leaning on. I like Connor in this fight. If somebody wants to come on debate, we'll do it, guys. I haven't marketed it yet, but did you guys tune in last week to the debate I had with Chilltown Boxing? We debated Tiger Johnson versus Nick Flaz. What I want to do every week is to find somebody who disagrees with one of my picks, bring them on, and we could do a debate. I call it Fight IQ. And the purpose of the debate is to showcase YouTube boxing content creators that we could do debates and disagree and keep it respectful, educational. We do it with research, and it's not mean-spirited. So I know there's going to be a lot of Chris Eubank Jr. betters. So if anybody is betting on Chris Eubank Jr. as we get closer to fight weekend, keep in mind if you want to debate, I'll send you the link. We'll bring it on. We'll bring both of us on, and then we'll live stream it. What adjustments do you think Benn can make? This is a great question. What adjustments do you think Benn can make if you think Eubank's the better boxer? The adjustment, just because somebody's a better boxer doesn't mean they always win a fight. Why? Things like athleticism matters, speed matters, damage matters, recovery matters, the ability to come back from a shot, and more importantly, the ability to come in as fresh as you did in the first fight, considering this is a rematch. The adjustments that I feel Benn is going to have to make is don't fight Chris Eubank Jr. mid-range or on the outside. Eubank is going to have the better jab. He's longer. He's bigger. We know that. If Chris wins, it'll be a cleaner fight from the outside. Conor Benn's strength is the pocket, the inside. More athletic, more output. I feel what he's going to have to do is work the body more early and don't headhunt. Work his angles in the pocket, break the body down, try to time Eubank in the pocket. When Eubank goes up top, you slip, you rip the body, you exit, you angle, and don't headhunt. Don't get into the habit of trying to knock him out like you did in the first fight. Don't go all gas, no brakes as well. Pace yourself. pace that output, stay on the inside, and I feel that Benn is going to be more successful doing that. I think his downfall, like I said, was trying to come out way too aggressive. His gas tank was impressive. Chris Eubank's gas tank was impressive. I just feel headhunting is the wrong approach with a guy who's bigger than you. You want to chop the tree down, and you mix. So those are my adjustments. You mix that with the 7 months of recovery. I don't like it. I don't like how much weight Eubank is cutting. I don't like how old Eubank is. I don't like that fight was 7 months ago, and I don't like how much damage both of the guys took. And I'm taking Benn in this fight, and that's what I'm leaning on. Those slight adjustments. Catterall Essamon, I'm uploading my prediction today. It's this one kind of had me torn, and the more I think about it, the more I'm taking Jack. I was initially going to take Essamon. Let's look at the odds. And I'm not going to lie, man. Echo impressed me against Josh. He did. Echo did impress me against Josh. I'm not going to say he was on my list of guys that I thought was going to beat Josh Taylor if you'd have asked me even a year ago. But, they call him the engine for a reason. Both guys have a path to victory here. I'm 90% sure I'm taking Jack. That could change when I'm editing my breakdown. Echo Essamon, they call him the engine for a reason. If you're on Echo, things to feel good about is his output, his pace, his volume, his pressure, front foot. He's going to be there. His willingness to fight. You're not going to have to worry about this kid having an off night. He's going to show up every single time with that exact game plan. Jack Catterall's game plan, slick southpaw. He's going to look to counter. He's going to look to be more precise. He's going to look to be more accurate. He's going to look to make Essamon miss. The downside of that style is Catterall's lack of volume against the guy who they literally call the engine. So this is what it's going to come down to. Will Jack be able to negate Essamon's volume and output and score the bigger shots and force Echo to back up and not throw as many shots? What adjustments is Jack going to make working with Bozy Ennis? The same sort of narrative with Eubank Jr. having Bomac in his corner. People are favoring that. People are saying, well, Eubank has Bomac in his corner. He's going to win. A coach can only do so much. A coach can't get in there and fight with their fighter. I like the fact that Jack left the UK to come to the US to fight and train in Philly with Bozy Ennis. What adjustments will Bozy be able to add to Jack? I think with Bomac to Eubank, it'll be more tactical in their approach. I think with Bozy and Jack, it'll be more technical. So I feel that Bozy, probably all camp, has worked on Jack sitting down more on punches technically. When to throw it, how to throw it, different angles of the hooks, different angles of the backhand, bending your legs a bit more in different sequences, that sort of thing. With Bomac, I feel it's going to be more tactical, using the entire ring, circling out, popping the jab, timing Connor when he's coming in with your backhand, circling out, forcing that sort of thing. So those would be the differences if I were, if you guys are asking me, the Bozy Ennis angle versus the Bomac angle. But Jack and Essamon, like I said, I'm 90% sure I'm going to take Jack here based off of, the accuracy, the timing, the counterboxing, the resume, who he's been in there with. Not that old, hasn't taken a lot of damage. I feel that he beat Josh the first time. He should have been awarded the undisputed champion. I feel he's still, for him to even show up and go to the States tells you where his mindset's at. I expect Jack to look good in this fight. He could quite possibly make Echo look one-dimensional here. And if I'm taking Jack, that's probably what I'm going to say in my breakdown. If Jack has the skills to dare I say, domesticate Essamon with his timing and his accuracy of his punching, Jack at his best should be able to domesticate Essamon. That's all I'm going to say. He should. Now, maybe Essamon punches harder than Jack thinks. It's a fun fight. Guys, I'm more excited about that fight than I am Benn. And this is going to sound crazy because I've heard a lot of YouTube content creators talk shit about Jack Catterall, and a lot of guys are saying that this fight's going to be boring. Not for me. This fight for me is super intriguing. Because I saw Benn Eubank won, and I'm not a fan of just rock'em sock'em styles. I like the technicians. You guys always hear me say Pernell Whitaker was one of my favorite fighters. I like Jermaine Ortiz. I like Jermaine Ortiz's style. I like Shakur Stevenson. I like his style. So I do like sluggers as well. Obviously, I'm a boxing fan. I'm a boxer. I love a slugger, but I also love a technician. I like this matchup. I want to see what Jack looks like. I want to see how Esteban handles this. This is intriguing. I'm a storyteller. I'm a writer. Boxing, for the hopeless romantics like myself, boxing, there's no better sport in the world than boxing. I could find a storyline in every single fight. In a domestic PCYC YMCA fight, I'll find a goddamn storyline. So the storyline with Jack and Esteban actually is really intriguing for me. I'm excited about this fight. I'm more excited than I am about Benn Eubank. So that's where I stand on that. This is another good fight, guys. Tenny Oladeji. What's crack-a-lackin', Tenny? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. T.O. in the house. Let's look at the odds. Okay, so this is the Ishmael Davis fight. This is, guys, there is a handful of fights here that we can make a lot of money depending on where you go. I'm seeing people talking about Sam Gilly maybe getting the upset here. When I watch Sam Gilly's tape, man, there's something about his style I don't like. Ishmael Davis, been in there with the better opponents. His resume, some people say, he loses that decision to Kelly. I don't think he won that fight. People are going to tip their hat because it was a close decision to Josh. I rate Kelly. I thought he did the better work in that fight. The tape I've seen on Gilly, I feel he's an underdog for a reason. I don't. Let's pull up. Let's pull up the box rec. There's just something about his style that just kind of looks like he's. I don't know, man. (18-1), 9 knockouts, coming off of a draw. You look at his resume, he just drew with a guy who was 7-5. I mean, guys, 7-5. What's Ishmael? We'll see what Ishmael's 14-3. It seems like he's way older. He's only 30. That loss to Garko, not that bad of a loss. The Boacek loss. He's been in there with some good guys, man. Troy Williamson, decent pro, UK level. He's getting another feature fight, Williamson is. Like I said, the loss to Kelly. I like, to answer your question, I like Davis here, man. I think it's going to be a class issue. Sam Gilly's last performance, Ishmael Davis, 31 years old. I think it's going to be a class issue. And I'm comfortable taking Davis. I initially thought Gilly might be, Davis might be on upset alert. But after watching the tape, his last fight, I don't see it. I think Catterall at -200 is good money. I think so too. Echo hasn't fought no one this experienced. I mean, you could say Josh Taylor's experienced. Bet his head, honey, all night. He's not listening. He probably isn't. Can we do a debate about whether or not Canelo? Yeah. I think Dwayne. I think we know the debate. Canelo's not the face of boxing. I mean, I think Bud answered that for us, right? Conor Benn should stay on the outside and leap in. It doesn't matter if someone is bigger and longer reach. It's speed of step, not necessarily a reach. Well, you're talking about his entrances. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to get inside. He's gonna get inside using his speed. He's not gonna, it's gonna come down to him getting caught with that jab, and then Eubank forcing him to stay on the outside. I just don't think Eubank is gonna. I'm leaning on the fact that Eubank isn't gonna have the speed and the volume to keep Connor at bay. That front foot style might get him knocked out. It's crazy neither one of them got knocked out in the last fight. That the thumbnail has me thinking you're thinking it's possible Ben wins this fight and it sets up the trilogy. I'm taking Ben. I think it does set up a trilogy. Yeah, I got Connor this fight. I just watched. So MMA better. What fights have you watched of Echo? I watched tape. I only watched the Josh Plant fight live, the Josh Taylor fight. Yeah, I watched his last two. So I only go back 2 fights. So watch the one before the Taylor fight as well. Jacob Meredith. I took Jack on points in the over. Yo, I like that, mate. I like Jack on points in the over 9.5 for Ben. Jack on points in the over for Ben. I like that. What's that pay? To finish off a parlay. I support that, Jacob Meredith. Those are 2 bets that I like for betting Eubanks to need to finish it. Over 9.5 betting Eubank, Jack on points. That's literally what I'm tailing. That's what I have as well. I think, bro, same, Manny, same. Sprinkle Lindolfo on that joint. I don't really put. I'm kidding. I don't like putting favorites together on with dogs. You know, Ben's the dog here. Lindolfo $1.28. Keep Lindolfo separate. Yeah, there's something about Gilly's game that just looks sort of. I'm not sitting here trying to look. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I'm gonna just leave it what I said earlier, Rambler. It's a class issue. They're pushing a lot of Asian fighters on this card. What does that mean, 420? What the hell? What kind of comment is that? That's like, that is this you sound like the old man Malcolm who used to live by me in Ohio. There was this neighbor of mine in Youngstown, old man Malcolm, and we would be talking about like the local the baseball game. Well, they pushing a lot of Asian fighters on this card, Bo. Shit, I tell you what, I don't know what they trying to do, but them goddamn Asians, they just showing up. I don't even know how they got here, Bo. Shit, I tell you what, they keep pushing these goddamn Asian fighters on this goddamn card. I don't know what the hell. My uncle Elroy was on that damn card too, Bo. Shit, tell you what. What are you saying? Like, what does that even mean, dude? Kyle Dacus is never easy money. We're getting into the weeds here, boy. Let's check it out. So we will go to the MMA real quick. Dacus did look good on his return, though. I think where was that in China? I watched that. He had his return on a real sort of. But Kyle Dacus, mate, damn. I don't think anything with Kyle Dacus is easy money. Yeah, I see why you say that. I can't believe I thought GM3 retired. But you know what, man? I gotta be honest with you. Yo, let me finish the GM3 Kyle Dacus fight. GM3 is known for sneaking it, he's just so slow and stuck in the mud and he's old. But Dacus is really aggressive. So I could actually see GM3 pulling guard and getting a sub. But it shouldn't. GM3 should not win that fight, but you never know. I think he has more finishes than anybody in middleweight history. This fight is insane, dude. We're about to see Malcolm Wellmaker get tested. Cody Haddon is a dog. Yo, this is fight of the night. If you don't know Malcolm Wellmaker is the kid. I think he's from Georgia. What, 3 or 4 fights in the UFC? Finishes, performance of the night, bonuses. He's always like a 7 to 8 to 1 favorite. Cody Haddon is an Aussie. This is going to be a firefight, dude. Whoo! I did not know this was going down. So this is Malcolm Wellmaker, and he's always like a huge favorite. Instant action, great kid. I think he still works as a boiler maker. He's like a pipe fitter, hard-nosed kid from Georgia, super athletic. But Cody is a dog, dude. If you don't know about Cody Haddon, this kid is a beast. He's an Aussie. This is a firefight. Yo, I'm this shit. Shit. This one right here is a firefight. This has fight of the night all over. It's a prelim, I bet. Is this on the prelims? Yeah, it's on the prelims. I wouldn't be surprised if they elevate this to the main card. Well, nah, the main card's freaking stacked. JDM, Makachev, Shevchenko, Zhang, Brady Morales, Edwards, Prate. Yeah, there's no room to put him on the main card. Maybe a feature prelim. Damn, this card is freaking stacked, dude. Kopolov versus RoboCop. Let's go. Nickel versus Vieira. Dariush versus Saint Denis. Leon versus Prates. This card is stacked. This fight though. Pay attention to this fight. That's insane. I don't know, man. You got to do your homework on Cody Haddon. I'm a big fan of Wellmaker, but Haddon is a problem. This will be Wellmaker's biggest step up. This UFC card is stacked. Jesus Christ. Dude, the card is stacked. Bain Segura, Sirkikaev, for get it, Manny. Kopolov RoboCop is insane, dude. We'll see if everybody makes weight. Dude, Rodriguez just. I remember I watched Rodriguez on the regional scene. He got his head beat in, and I was like, there's no way this dude's going to make it to the UFC. Sure enough, he makes it to the UFC. I think you guys, before you go all in on Wellmaker, and he's fun to watch, you need to do your homework on Haddon. That's all I'm going to say. Just from the comment section, it feels like a lot of you guys picking Wellmaker haven't seen Haddon fight. Watch Haddon's tape. So somebody just asked me, Bo Nickel fight. Isn't Bo fighting Vieira? Yeah. So I feel on this fight, what are the odds? I mean, moving forward with every Rodolfo Vieira fight, I feel that Fluffy gave us the blueprint to beat him. And because Adolfo Vieira, how muscled up and bodied up he is, and Bo Nichols' wrestle heavy style, you'd have to think Nichols learned from his mistakes. You're a wrestler and a grappler. Stop falling in love with your striking. You're facing a former, well, I'm pretty sure, Adolfo Vieira is a world BJJ champion. He won the Mundo, the worlds. So, he fades. Both guys, we might see a striking match with two grapplers and wrestlers, right? But I never feel comfortable taking Vieira on a bet. And I'm not high on, look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm high on wrestlers. I'm a striker. I hate grappling heavy styles in MMA. That's just me. I respect it. I mean, Uriah Faber Uriah Faber was probably removing Robbie Lawler from my list. Robbie Lawler is my all-time favorite of that era. It would probably go Robbie Lawler, Carlos Condit, and then I'd probably put Uriah in my top 5. And Uriah's a wrestler, so George St. Pierre's in my top 5. But Bo Nickel, he should be able to get past Vieira if people think he is who people think he is, but we'll see. Yeah, it might just turn into a striking match. I'm probably not going to bet on that fight. If anything, I'm going to take Haddon to beat Wellmaker, which is crazy. I like that fight. I like that matchup for Haddon. We are 45 minutes in. Are you picking all money picks? Picking all money picks? I just gave you all dogs. Cody is going to sleep. Ooh. I disagree, mate. I like Cody to beat Wellmaker here. Guys, I got to lock it up. It only says 47 minutes, but I did a live stream already today. Stay tuned to the channel. Check out my prediction, Ben Eubank Jr. Catch you in the next one.